This week on the agenda, we have Mr. Ray Secamandi of the Wilmington Land Bank here to tell us about this great program. There's been so many questions about it. We said, let's go to the source, find out what's going on, ensure that our citizens are on the agenda. Ray, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you today?
Doing the best I can, So tell us a little bit about the Land Bank.
The Land Bank was an idea. In 2008, the City of Wilmington had a surplus of properties that were sitting. The mortgage foreclosure crisis hit, and the city was acquiring properties at sheriff's sale because no one in the audience bid on these homes. So by default, they ended up back in the city's hands. The city slowly increased their inventory to close to 300 homes and parcels of property that they were sitting on trying to sell. The city didn't do such a great job at selling them. So they went to the Center of Community Progress to ask for ideas. What should we do? What are best practices to do with these tax foreclosures? What do we do with them? So the Center for Community Progress in 2014 did a study here for the City of Wilmington, and they decided that a land bank would be best practices for this state and this city. So we created the Land Bank.
And it's really to rejuvenate communities. A lot of people might think that it's for developers to come in here, and we've talked off the air about this gentrification term. Tell us a little bit about that. That's not the case of the Land Bank.
To gentrify something, you have to remove a viable person from that space. We're taking vacant properties and making families have new homes again. Our job, our mission is to remove vacancy and blighted homes from the community, which means we take a vacant property, we get it into the hands of a capable developer to have a new family move in, to have affordable housing. Our houses, the average sales price is $186,000 after renovations.
Is that here in the city or throughout the state?
City, just
Okay.
the City of Wilmington. That's our average sale price, is $186,000, which is affordable. So our mission is to make that vacant property have a family back in it. It is said that there's a 20% reduction in value if you live next to a vacant home. If you live next to two vacant homes, it gets worse, and then you can't even get homeowners insurance because no one will write it because there's a vacant on either side of you.
I didn't know that was true. So there's a vacant on either side of you. It is very hard to, I guess, be insured on that property.
Correct. The insurance companies will not write it because they're afraid of squatters or vandals breaking into the property and starting fires to keep it warm. So it's hard to get insurance.
So what barriers are you knocking down for individuals trying to obtain these homes?
What we did is we set up a process. It's a meaningful process, a meaningful workflow. We set policies and procedures up, and we do give advantages to our folks here in Wilmington. If you're a Wilmington resident, you get extra points. Well, we could get through the whole scorecard issue in a few minutes, how we score, how we take applications in, if you want to discuss all that.
Yes, I would. I would love to.
Okay, what we do is we list 5 to 10 homes approximately every cycle. A cycle could be every 2 months, 3 months, could be a month. We list 10 homes on our internet website. You go to our website, available properties, you'll see those homes listed. Now with those homes, you're gonna have to sign a waiver because we have open houses. We need you to go inside the house. So if you visit the house and you like it, you have to do the application process. There's three phases to a successful application. There's 3 pieces of information that you need. You need a application, complete it, and it's on our website. You'll see it under properties. Under the website headings, you'll see the application tab. You'll see a tab for applications. You complete that. Then I need a scope of work. I need you to go through that house with a contractor and go through every room and tell me what you're going to do to put that back to get a certificate of occupancy. As if you were hiring a person to redo your kitchen. You're going to want to know what kind of cabinets you're getting, what kind of tile you're getting, what kind of backsplash you're getting, what kind of appliances. I need that level of detail of scope of work for the entire house. I need to know what you're doing with the house.
So what if it was just a regular person that is not a contractor that can possibly do the work themselves, or they have a family member that they can really knock out a lot of this work themselves? Are they excluded?
No. We encourage that. We need to know that. On that scope of work, you're going to put down under comments, if you're just paying materials, you're going to represent that cost. Let's say your kitchen is going to cost $3,000. You're buying the cabinets, you're going to do the tile work. We're okay with that. You're just going to have to let us know on that scope of work what the cost is attached to each area of specialty. There's 3 areas that you can't do as a do-it-yourselfer. You can't do the HVAC, you can't do the plumbing, and you can't do the electric. City code just won't allow you to do it. You have to have a certified contractor do that, and we need to see real numbers based on that. An HVAC system, 3-piece system with ductwork could cost $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000 in the city of Wilmington. An electrical full rewire is $10,500. And a plumbing rough-in could be $4,000. You can install toilets, you can install fixtures, we have no problems with that. But you can't do the new rough-in because none of our homes have any copper pipes or any pipes left. They're all been stolen or vandalized, they're gone.
And so how, I'm trying to knock down the barriers for anybody at home that may be on the fence on whether or not to do this, right? I want them to do this, I want them to go through. How detailed does this plan need to be?
Doesn't need to be that detailed. We have a scope of work on our application packet. If you follow that outfit or that outline, you'll be successful. We just need to see real numbers. You can't tell me that you're going to put an HVAC system in for $3,000. As we discussed, you can't do it yourself. We know that. So we need to see the real numbers. So you do your scope of work. If your scope of work comes out to $60,000, then I'm going to need the 3rd piece of information. Application, scope of work, proof of funds. I need to see, not I, the committee, the disposition committee needs to see that you have a pathway for the financing to successfully complete this project within the 12 months that you have allotted per our contract with us.
So this committee, tell us a little bit more. Some of the citizens are like, oh, I got to go. What if this person doesn't like me and they're on the committee? Am I just going to get thrown and my package is going to get thrown out? Tell us a little bit about
No,
that.
the committee is well-rounded. It is citizens. They're not county government, no one in the government. There's one person in the government that's on the committee. The rest are 3 general members of public at large. They're folks like you and me, just serving on our committee to make sure that these applications, some people are more qualified than others, and we have a scorecard. So every application we receive, the committee scores it appropriately, and you're assigned a score. And you get extra points if you attend the Jumpstart Wilmington program put on by Sinair Corporation. If anyone's interested in that program, you could Google Jumpstart Wilmington and you'll see Sinair and University of Delaware. You can apply to be part of that program. That program teaches new developers and new wannabe developers how to do things correctly and do a pro forma, how to be a property manager, how to put numbers to things.
So, I mean, I would love to sign up for a program like that and to really educate yourself. What are some obstacles that you're seeing from people who have not been selected? What was their downfall?
Is money. A lot of folks just, let's be, I guess, get down to brass tacks.
Please.
Money. A lot of folks will send an application in to $40,000 with a scope of work of $40,000. We know these homes need more than $40,000. Once again, those 3 areas, the plumbing, the HVAC, and electrical, can't be done on your weekend. You can't do it yourself. You can't. You have to vend it out to us for a certified licensed person, which could cost $40,000 just for the mechanicals. So I see a barrier, and not that I'm saying we have a ton of applicants, but a lot of applicants just don't have the financial capacity. But we do take hard money lenders. So you can get a construction or a bridge loan. Sinair Corporations offers bridge loans. You could Google hard money lenders in Wilmington, Delaware. They are construction lenders. They may charge you 12 or 13%, but they will finance your construction project. We will accept that as proof of funds. And if you can't finance the whole renovation project, you can only finance 70% through a hard money loan. You have to have 30% equity of the job or cash in the bank account.
So, wow. Is there anything the city could do that you think in a perfect world, right? What could the city provide in order to help knock down that barrier?
Here's what I think should be done. Now, some may agree, some may disagree. Some of these homes need a drastic amount of work. We've sold, I think, 188 homes. I don't know for sure.
And
Somewhere
how many
around
do
that
you have in
number.
the collection?
We have 125 structures, and I think maybe 125 lots. Some of the homes we're down to now need a substantial amount of renovation. They're the worst of the worst. The city could probably help by giving a subsidy to the developer to make up the difference. It may cost more to fix these homes than they're actually worth or you could sell them for. So it would be great if the city had a grant program that would give the developer a grant for that excess, or we call it subsidy amount.
Like a basis just for the heating, plumbing, and electrical.
Correct.
And just have that be the basis that you're going to get from the city, but the rest is on you.
What I'd like to see is I'd like to see it watertight, I call it. New roof, maybe new windows, make it watertight and then pass it off. $20,000, $25,000 in subsidy. Could be a furnace, it could be for 25 grand, furnace, roof, windows, door, just to make it watertight. And so the house, a problem with some of these land bank homes, they're leaking into the house itself, but they're also leaking into the neighbors' homes. So we do need to replace the roof because we don't want our other constituents suffering any loss due to our house.
So that sounds like a better case for your watertight idea and making all this happen, because you're just not helping the future homeowner, you're helping the adjacent homeowners as well.
Correct. That's the perfect world, is a city subsidy. That may be getting worked on, may not be. That's something the city is involved with. We are not the city. We're a 501c3. We're a sister to the city. The city is our biggest financer, but we are not city employees.
So how did your agency get involved with this? Did the city come to you and say, hey, we have this program, and this is what our needs were? How did that come about?
The city had to get out of the property sales business. What the Center of Community Progress said, you need to start a land bank, which is a separate nonprofit, to go ahead and handle the sales of these excess homes. The city was not selling them. The city pays higher property maintenance costs, et cetera, typical bureaucracy. So what we did was we followed the outline as presented, and we started the land bank, and it's a 501c3. We have a board of directors. 5 members on the board of directors are city de facto directors in the city of Wilmington. They serve the administration as 5 seats. And then there's seats for the General Assembly representatives, and there's seats for general members of the public at large.
So, I mean, they're the ones that are ensuring that policy is going through and, making sure that everything is working smoothly.
Correct. They're setting policy. We're policing policy. We're making sure we adhere to the rules that the board sets.
So who was it at the city that approached you guys to say, this is our problem, this is our plan, this is what we need you to do?
This was done in the Williams administration, and it carried forward with the Brzezicki administration.
Great. And it seems to be going well. What advice would you have for someone that's going to start this process or could be interested in this process?
Don't be discouraged. You may have to apply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We have people that have applied for a year, and they get it right. They ultimately get it right. The application, the scope of work is comparable to others. Sometimes it's not fair, but some of the larger developers, not larger developers, most of our purchasers are, I think it's 60% are the city of Wilmington residents, and 80 to 90% are minorities. But some of the developers that are more experienced or seasoned at this, as opposed to your next door neighbor or yourself that may want to apply for this. So it may take you a couple times to apply, but don't get discouraged. You'll get your application right. We give you feedback. If you're accepted, we let you know you're accepted. If you're denied, we let you know you're denied. We tell you the reason why you're denied. We hold a Zoom session twice a month, every month, on a Wednesday at 5 or 6 o'clock, and we go over the program, and the floor is our constituents. Any questions asked, we answer them, or we try to answer them.
And this is all on your website?
This is all on the website.
And what's that address?
WilmingtonLandBank.org.
WilmingtonLandBank.org, and we can go there and get this information on the process steps necessary to obtain property.
Correct. It's a robust website with a lot of information. Take your time. If you don't want to attend one of our Zoom meetings, there is a recorded Zoom meeting on the website that you can listen to at your leisure. But there's a lot of helpful information. What I suggest is, and a lot of people don't do this, read the application. The application has a lot of information on it. Just read the complete application.
And you're available for assistance with these folks as well?
Absolutely. My information is on the website, my contact number. I work best by email or text message. And Natalie, our contract manager, is our day-to-day contact. Her email's all over the website, and she welcomes all emails and phone calls as well.
So what would you say to someone as we're going through and you're trying to encourage them? They say, oh, this is just another boondoggle for city officials, and they're going through this. What encouragement would you give them that is definitely not the case? And it's not a secret. Wilmington Land Bank has had some troubles previously, but I believe they're doing their best to figure that out and to fix it. What would you tell constituents?
I could tell them 66 homes that we sold are now in the hands of a different occupant, meaning a different owner. Someone has bought the house or someone is renting the house affordably. So I could tell you this, we sold 166 or 180 of them, I said earlier. I'd have to go through the numbers to be particular, but 66 are for home ownership opportunities. 16 of those are homestead homes. Homestead homes are a dollar house. You could buy one of these homes for $1, but the strings attached to that are you must live in the house for 5 years. Every bucket, we have 3 buckets, every bucket has strings attached to it, and it has to do with occupancy. The dollar houses, you have to live in it for 5 years. The fix and flip is you have to sell it, and the buyer has to live in it for 5 years as their primary residence. And the affordable rental is you have to rent it affordably within HUD guidelines for 5 years.
So that's the requirements for the program. There's no wavering in that. That's what it is.
That's what it is. But I could tell you there's around 66 units that are in new owners' hands. Those blighted and vacant homes have new families in them. The community is happy. There's no more vacant home next door, and there's no more nonsense or criminal activity going on out front of the house.
So to me, and that's wonderful, but to me, this seems like it falls under infrastructure, right? Our president has passed a big infrastructure bill. It's rolling down. The state's out of surplus and has funds dealing directly with infrastructure. Is any of that coming your way?
That is a good question. I'm not sure how I can answer that, but I see that as an opportunity as well.
Good, good. And we look forward to that. And will some of that roll back down to the people that are applying for these homes, if possible?
We hope we'll be in a position to offer subsidies, if that's the case, or grants to offset some of the prices of these repairs.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Okay, Ray, before I let you go, tell me a little bit about the Land Bank partners with other agencies as well.
Yes, we have many partners and many nonprofit partners. We recently had one successful partner, the Lifelines Project with West End Neighborhood House. They have housing for youth that age out of foster care. When they're 18, they need to go to college, they need a place to live. We just help them acquire and renovate and housing stock on Douglas Street. They just opened that project up and they have folks living in there now. That was a land bank acquisition, as well as the other project that also had the grand opening on the same street. It used to be an old tavern that we got from them at sheriff's sale.
And part of your responsibility with this was?
Acquisitions. The land bank has favorable legislation. It's more favorable for me to go to sheriff's sale than the average citizen or average entity, because we get a credit for past city fees owed. So when I go to sheriff's sale, I save money. So most of these nonprofits ask me to go ahead to go to sheriff's sale to buy properties for them.
Okay.
And we do that. We partner with them. Now, we also do strategic acquisitions for the city the same way.
What is strategic acquisitions? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Let's talk about Bennett Street. Bennett Street, as we all know, is going to be new housing stock down there on the 800 block and 900 block. There's some remaining homeowners down there that we had to move out, and we had to buy their houses out or put them in new housing arrangements, which we did. Some of the units had to go to sheriff's sale, and which means that I have to go there and bid against the public to get that property. We don't have eminent domain here in Delaware for blight and or for vacant properties. That soon may change with upcoming legislation, but now we don't. So it's my job to go to sheriff's sale and to acquire these at a reasonable cost.
And who were you acquiring them for?
City of Wilmington and or the land bank. Partnership.
The partnership there for a development project.
Yes, a larger scale development project.
And that's all funded by the city as well.
The City of Wilmington, that's correct. So they could complete the 3 new blocks that are going to be on Bennett Street, the 800, 900, and 1,000 block of Bennett Street, which was going to be all new housing with the neighborhood stabilization money from the ARPA funds that Mayor Purzycki has put out there.
So what other projects have you been a part of in dealing with this?
We've worked with Habitat for Humanity, getting site control of properties. A lot of nonprofits come to us once again for site control or to go to sheriff's sale because we have such a large advantage the way our bylaws are written and the way the state law is written. If I have a competitor to go to sheriff's sale and he bids, there's $50,000 is the bid, and $51,000 is owed, I only pay $1,000 if I bid $51,000. The other person has to pay $51,000 because I get credit for the money owed to the city.
I understand.
So it's a huge advantage for me to go to sheriff's sale as the land bank.
So they probably tremble when you walk in the door because they realize it's probably going to be a loss.
It's going to be a loss. If they're interested in the same property the city's interested in or the land bank's interested in, most of the times the bidders don't bid because they know I'm there.
Right.
They're waiting to see what I'm going to bid on.
And what would you say to someone who thinks that's a lot of power for the city to have?
It's not eminent domain. We're paying fair market value, or these are distressed properties. These sheriff's sale properties are vacant and they're distressed. They need new ownership to whether remorph them into a retrofit or brand new homes. Something has to be done.
But if folks don't agree with that agenda and that development, they're kind of, it doesn't matter because the city's just going to get their way anyway. What would you say to that?
Could be a fair statement.
Great. Well, we hope to have you back on the show so you can tell us a little bit more about it, if that in fact is the case.
I would love to.
Well, thank you, Ray. We appreciate you for coming here on the agenda. This week, we are here again with Councilwoman Maria Cabrera, who is a guest here on the agenda and has always been there when we needed her to talk about important issues, and this week is no different. This week, as you know, we're talking about the land bank. We're very excited about what that brings to Wilmington. We're very excited about what it's going to do for communities as far as rejuvenating those communities, not just from a people standpoint, but also from a cost perspective in regards to the price of housing in that community and raising these prices. We're going to show a home in the Southbridge community that was redone using the land bank program and the beauty of it, and we're just excited. But the land bank has had its own problems, as we can talk about in limited detail, but there has been an issue of embezzlement, so to speak, in regards to property and getting that done here, and it's kind of given a black eye to the program. But you've made it very clear that there are safeguards in place to stop that from happening. And when that black eye did occur, it was brought to everyone's attention. I think that people kind of have a caution anytime that you're dealing with municipalities and government and these programs, and not everybody benefits from these programs. There's always sometimes a select group of people that benefit from these programs, but you've made it clear to me that that's not the case.
Exactly. And I, first of all, thank you and appreciate the fact that you are taking a closer look at the land bank. I think that the more that we educate the community about the program, I'm happy to have been there when we first voted for the land bank in my first term as councilwoman, and I'm happy to see how it has grown. But as any new organization has grown, even though there is a map and an outline that we have been following, what might work in one city may not work in another city. So the land bank has been an evolution of different changes that have been made from when it originally started. But let's talk about the heart of when the land bank got started and why. We know that the city of Wilmington has a lot of vacant properties. We have neighborhoods that have fallen apart. And then we have in those neighborhoods with the highest amount of vacancy, you have a lot of crime. So the land bank was necessary. The land bank was formed with a board of directors. And now I recently am on the board of directors as the chair of Housing, Community Development and Urban Planning, and the president of City Council, as well as the finance director, have a seat on that board. There are community faces on the board, and there's a disposition committee. So recently we brought in people like Ray Fitzgerald that used to run the Medicare program. Now he is the head of the Wilmington Housing Authority. And there are others who have come that bring expertise from the community, because you have to have community people making those decisions. A board is in place to approve the business of the land bank. The disposition committee is in place to look at the applications and then decide who is going to get those properties or not. They have to meet certain criteria. Right. A lot of the contractors have to have the funding to be able to buy the property. We're not taking one vacant property and passing it along to another owner who's going to let it sit and be vacant as well. So we want these properties developed within a year. These are changes that we're making. Now, you speak of what happened recently with the embezzlement and the charges that were brought up against one of the directors. And what I understand happened, and that person has, pleaded guilty and made restitution, is that they took payments from contractors for houses that the land banks had yet to acquire. These were properties that, yes, we're going to sheriff's sale. Those promises were made. But you can't make those promises and keep them, because there is a process in place. You got to go through the disposition committee in order to get those properties. And that's where it was found out when a contractor brought up that they had already paid for that property, and why is their application being denied? Because you have to meet the criteria in order to get the property. And when that was brought up, that flag went up and it was handled. So technically, monies were never embezzled because the monies were returned. The money did not come out of monies that the land bank had. These were future properties that the land bank was going to acquire, that person went ahead and assumed that it was okay to make side deals. And that blew up in their face because the safeguards are in place. So moving away from that, because I understand where that brings that element of doubt into people's minds, I want people to know the great work that the land bank is doing. We have this once in a lifetime shot in the arm with this ARP money, the ARPA funds, as they call it, the American Recovery Act. And the mayor has felt that putting the bulk of that money onto the east side, where we see a lot of the crimes, a lot of the shootings, and so many properties, like 13 vacant properties on one block, where we can actually go in there, make an impact, a visible impact. And some money is going into the Hilltop area as well. So I'm excited to see that 85% of the land bank properties are minority owned, that 95% of the contractors are minority contractors. So you're creating jobs, you're creating opportunities for people to expand and grow their businesses by acquiring these properties. You're turning entrepreneurs into developers. So now they get to get a piece of that pie as well. So I think that the work that we're doing in transforming neighborhoods is great. And I'm so happy that you guys are going to showcase what a property looks like from beginning to end when it becomes a land bank property, and to have a happy home buyer at the end saying, I have my home. But not only that, we have rental properties, affordable rental properties that are being developed for that reason, because not everybody can purchase. And the Homestead program, if you're a homeowner, you can buy it for $1, fix it up, and you have a home. Where can you get a home for $1? I'm trying to get a home right now, and it's been difficult. The housing market is terrible. So I think the land bank is going to put a lot of properties that Wilmington has that are vacant. They're going to repurpose them and deal with this issue of housing.
Well, thank you very much for breaking it down for us. We're excited about this process, as are you, and we're excited about the people that will benefit throughout the city and in your district.
I appreciate it. Well, my district is the whole city, so I'm wanting the whole city to succeed.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you again for being right here on the agenda.